Tom Jenkins.
He was stating a lot of stuff that was a lot of BS. He was saying that everyone there on the bridge was armed, which was not true. He said that they were fearing for their lives and the guns were pointing at them, which was not true. He says at one point he said that the officers were crying in tears, which really cracks me up because there's women, there's children, there's every age person there is, and they're fearing for their lives, and no one else was. The main people who were fearing for their lives were the people who were there standing up. I don't understand how they thought they were in danger of anyone that was there.
And what did this person do before he was a police officer?
They said he was in the Air Force, and he said
for 9 years.
Yes, he said that in all of the cases he's been in through the Air Force and through being an officer for 23 years, that this was the scariest moment he's ever been through.
From 1 to 10, it was a 10. I thought,
I'm sorry, yeah, it was.
This man is in the wrong occupation.
Yes.
He should not be a police officer.
Well, he's actually an actor. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised.
It was,
but he's still not a very good actor, actually.
He is a television star on the cops.
Yeah, it just.
Yeah. They did bring a juror in because a juror had seen that. That's what they did first this morning. And they did ask the juror, will that affect your decision on anything? And he said no, and they kept the guy in, juror 16 or something. I can't remember. Yeah, that was right before Carl started, actually.
Anything else major on that one? It was a lot of stuff that was okay. And then when we got up, the only thing that I thought was the most one that helped us out the most is when he got up and said, in your report, are you supposed to report it as accurate as possible? Yes. He kept asking him questions over and over. He says, yes, we're supposed to put exactly how we felt, da da da. And he made him say, yeah, he has said yes to every question. And he goes, then why in the report you didn't say that you were in fear for your life and that everyone had a gun and that there was guns pointing at you? Why wasn't that in the report?
His original report had nothing of that in that.
So
yeah.
That
Obviously
was
right
the turn, I guess.
Heavily coached.
When he said the officers are crying, it was
He
just
should not be a police officer. I don't think he'll protect me very well.
yeah, it was
Especially
very
after they've been in Iraq and this was the scariest thing they've ever been through.
Yeah.
It was contradicting after the fact when he got down. They're showing all this video after video, and it is of the crowd, it's of on the stage, all this stuff,
and no guns pointed.
There's no guns. I saw in the video maybe two
rifles in this. Yeah,
and he's stating everybody, and it was just like contradicting.
And none of them had it. They were all just over their shoulder. Yeah. It was actually kind of a waste of time and silly.
It was. And then the next, what his name again? I don't want to say it wrong.
Dennis Michael Lynch.
Yes.
He got on the stand.
He worked for Fox News at the time.
Yeah, for the Kelly Show or Kelly Project. Kelly File.
Kelly File. He worked with her a lot, and so he was out there.
And I thought he was doing well.
Yes.
Just matter of fact, answering the questions. I do not know what point they're really trying to get at.
I don't either.
Neither does the jury. They're going to sleep.
Yes,
it's hours and hours of video of, do you know this person? What side of the stage were you on? Who came over the hill?
Maybe pointing out Ammon. Ammon's not on trial.
Yes. That was probably the biggest thing we've had a conversation with is this is a trial, it seems like, for Ammon, Cliven, and maybe not even really anybody else. He's the only person they're talking about this whole time, and they are not on trial right now. So it's confusing to
watch. And pointing out particular guns, but what's funny, and Dennis did a good job, they would show the same group of guys in different videos and ask Dennis, well, did you see these guys drive in? Did you see them walk? And Dennis was really good in saying they were the same guys at the stage. Yes, I did. Because I can tell they're trying to make the jury think there's that many more guns when it was the same 4 guys with the guns. And so I'm so glad that Dennis made that point. He didn't need to, but he did. Yes, those are the same 4 men that were in front of the stage. Yes, I saw them.
Asking questions like, what are they wearing? Camo. What's that on his shoulder? A radio. Just silly questions. And then on the end part, just before we left, was my favorite part of the whole thing. Yeah. He in the video, they're all, is that your voice? Yes, that's me talking. And he goes, hey. And he stops and he goes, why did you say that? And he's like, they're trying to think at the time, but again, this is 3 years ago. And he goes back to it, he goes, I like to rephrase what I was saying that for. And they were stopping him, and he's like, I would like to answer the question that you gave me, because they were both fighting him like crazy. They didn't want him to answer after that. And he put his foot down. Yes, he goes, you asked me the question, I'm going to answer it. And so they finally allowed him to, and he goes, the reason I yelled that is because the group seemed to be going in a little bit of that direction. I was trying to stop them. Well, why were you trying to stop them going that direction? Because I was afraid for their lives that the BLM officers were going to shoot them.
Yeah, he said right out. He goes, I felt that the BLM officers were going to shoot them.
Yeah.
They were not happy about that comment.
But tell the cute part about the wash.
Oh, that was
Oh,
great.
yeah.
I love
Yes,
that.
do you know what a wash is? And what they're referring to as the wash? He goes, no, I'm from New York. I think of
wash
laundry.
is a laundry.
Wash is laundry.
It was.
Wash is the laundry.
He's being very rude. It's kind of
Well,
funny.
it's his personality if you watch his show.
Yeah.
He's a walk and
His
talk.
body language is completely closed. He's got his arms folded all the time.
I guess not rude.
He's here.
It's not rude. It's you're asking me the same question. I just told you that.
And
I took the video. You know what I mean? They asked him questions like, you know,
I would
took
want to
the
say
video.
in his position and your point, but you can't say that. But I felt like he wanted to say your point is, you know, or I do anyway.
So that's as much as it was.
He's
Lots
doing
of
good.
video.
So
The rest of the day should
how
go
long
well.
do they expect to have him testify for prosecution?
Not sure when they're going to get to cross-examination at this point.
Probably all day.
It could be all. They could have him on the stand all day.
They are really trying to make this go as long as possible.
Yeah.
Some of this video is so
They
pointless.
truly have nothing, and so the points they're trying to make over and over again are the same points that are nothing, and that's how I feel.
I think the one other thing is during their video they brought up, and I love that they played this. I was bawling my eyes
Yeah, we
out.
got to see Ammon talk, and it was great.
Yeah, he talked, and I don't know how anyone in that room, the jury, the defense, anyone could say that man, sorry.
Was doing something wrong.
Yeah, he got up there and he was tearful. He explained himself. He looked. There's no way people could have watched that video. Anyone in that room, I was happy they played it.
Yeah.
I was bawling.
And the prosecution played that, which maybe I'm
Which
not a
shocked
lawyer
me,
prosecutor,
yes.
but
It didn't
maybe
make
they're
them look
making a
good.
full circle. But for us that know they're not guilty, they did not do anything wrong. It actually was kind of nice to watch that. We got
Yes, it
emotional.
was. It's just hard because he's been in prison for over a year, and it's just hard to watch. That man is in jail because he's a danger.
Well, are those men sitting there? This court, so far, this morning, I haven't been, this is my first day here. It's not even about these men sitting there.
No.
None of it is, and they've been sitting in jail for a year. And just, what a waste. What a waste of time
Well,
and money and their lives for a year. What a waste.
The government doesn't have anything, and so
Yes.
they're just trying to create a lot of fluff here and straw it out to make it look like they have a case when they don't. And when it comes down and they're able to show that footage from the BLM about joking about who they're going to shoot, and no, that cowboy's mine. Well, I'll shoot his horse. You shoot. And when that all comes out, this thing is going to completely fall apart. And I'm really looking forward to cross-examination of Dennis Lynch because he's a hostile witness at this point. He's having all he can do to be polite at this point, as far as I'm concerned. He's not happy to be here, and I think when the defense gets to cross-examine him, it's going to turn whatever little point that the prosecution was able to make in this case, it's going to turn it right around. And Myrie is being so obnoxious when they'll play a clip. And did you hear what he just said? What did he just say? And then making him repeat something that was just very clearly said. The jury heard it, and you're making him repeat it already. I mean, he's not winning any fans. I think that the jury has got to dislike the prosecution by this many weeks into this thing.
Oh, I'm sure.
They're
And
bullies.
Myrie especially. He's a very
He's a schoolyard bully. That's what he
is.
comes across
He
as.
gets mad
But
so
he's not
easily.
good. He's not good, in my
Yeah.
opinion. The questions he asks over and over, to me, that's not good prosecuting. That's not a good lawyer. That's not good prosecution.
I'd be a hostile
my
witness
opinion.
for him anytime.
Right?
Don't ask 10 questions, 10 times and expect a different answer. I don't know. But I guess that's the way they do it. I don't know. Yeah.
So what are we expecting after lunch?
I think there's going to be more of the same boring stuff is what it's going to be. I don't think that they show no
Supposedly they're going to be close to be done with the videos because he got it to what, like 34, and I think they're on 29, 30.
They're 39 and they're
It's
61.
close, yeah.
But
There's
what
a
else
lot
are
of
they?
videos.
What else are they gonna? And actually, the defense, just for the sake of time, we're willing to admit all these videos into evidence because they would have to show them on the clip, and then they'd have to show the jury the clip, and so they just said, let's just move this thing along. And for some reason, I don't know why the government wants to take so long on this. I don't know what's in it for them to drag this thing out for as long. Look, Oregon started a week after this case, and the jury's already out in that case. So very,
It just
very
seems like
interesting.
it's taken as long as possible, and it's like they're just trying to keep these men in prison as long as possible because this is going forever, and these men truly were there one day, most of them.
Some were only there for 3 hours.
You know what I mean? And they've been in. It's totally a court on Ammon and Clive, and it had nothing to do with these poor guys that have been sent.
What I'm looking forward to this afternoon is I always look forward to Todd Engel's cross-examination as someone that was there, and he's been enlivening the jury almost every time, getting people to laugh and things like that. So I think I'm looking forward to his cross-examination. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Good actor, actually.
He is a television star on the Cops.
Yeah,
They did bring a juror in because a juror had seen that. That's what they did first this morning. And they did ask the juror, will that affect your
force, and for being an officer for what, 23 years, that this was the scariest moment
It
he's
was a
ever
10.
been through.
From 1 to 10, it was a 10. I thought,
I'm sorry, yeah, it was.
this man is in the wrong occupation.
Yes.
He should not be a police officer.
Well,
That was-
he's actually an actor. You know that, right?
Yeah,
well, I wouldn't be surprised.
It was.
But he's still not a very-
lives, and the guns were pointing at them, which was not true. He says at one point he said that the officers were crying in tears, which really cracks me up because there's women, there's children, there's every age person there is, and they're fearing for their lives, and no one else was. The main people who were fearing for their lives are the people who were there standing up. I don't understand how they thought they were in danger of anyone that was there.
And what did this person do before he was a police officer?
They said he was in the Air Force, and he
For
said
9 years.
Yes, he said that in all of the cases he's been in through the Air Force.
Tom Jenkins.
He was stating a lot of stuff that was a lot of BS. He was saying that everyone there on the bridge was armed, which was not true. He said that they were fearing for their